composers use to add depth and complexity to their music. Dynamic change refers to the variation in volume and intensity between notes or movements, which allows a composer to convey a wide range of emotions and build up to climactic moments. This change in volume can make a piece more expressive and impactful, can make you feel a wide range of different emotions throughout one piece of music. It's one of those things you don't even notice with well-composed music. You're not supposed to notice it. It's supposed to kind of blend into the background. It becomes an emotional, expressive journey to listen to this music because you don't even notice how the composer has woven this tapestry of different notes and tempos and expressions and all the dynamics of the music. It's created an atmosphere, and you feel immersed in the mood and the atmosphere of this music. When music doesn't have a lot of dynamic change, you do notice it. You notice it in a bad way because it becomes sort of monotonous to listen to, even sometimes abrasive. We need that roller coaster ride of emotions. We need the ebb and flow of mood and volume and intensity in order to feel something. Otherwise, it becomes predictable. This is true of music, and it's true of writing. There is a very similar dynamic at play with writing, and that's why I call it emotional dynamics. And no, this doesn't just have to do with characters delivering lines of dialogue all in the same tone or the same volume. Obviously, you don't want that. If everyone is talking to each other in the same volume and emotional tone, it's going to get pretty monotonous and boring and just not feel realistic.
Don't let the sun go down on your anger. Forgive her, and you begin again tomorrow.
But emotional dynamic change goes beyond the delivery of dialogue. This is about the storytelling itself, the interplay of what the character wants and what they're afraid of. To show you what this looks like in action, we have to case study our two stories today, Little Women and Little Women. One was made by BBC Masterpiece in 2017, and one was made by Greta Gerwig in 2019. If you know me, you know which one I prefer, but we're not even going to go into that. I'm not even going to tell you that straight off the bat because I want us to just be totally unbiased as we watch these two clips from the same scene from two different adaptations and compare and contrast them and look for emotional dynamic change. How much do we feel what the characters are feeling, and how much of a roller coaster ride are we going on with them? We're just going to look at one scene from each of these adaptations, okay? The scene where Amy burns Joe's book. Every writer's worst nightmare. Amy does the fatal deed because she's upset that Joe didn't let her come to the theater with her, so while Joe is out that night, Amy gets revenge by stealing her sister's half-written novel and throwing it into the fire. You can understand why Joe wants to murder her sister when she realizes what she did. Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning and compare these two scenes side by side and look for emotional dynamic change. We're going to be tracking that throughout this whole study here, and we're going to be using a very official scoring system with emojis to keep track so that we can see real time which scene best leverages this technique of taking us on an emotional roller coaster ride. Which scene makes us feel the widest range of emotions? So let's jump into the computer and watch them. Okay, so our scene opens here with Joe hiding her book because she kind of already knows that she has to keep it safe, right? General March Sister Mayhem as they're getting ready.
You're going somewhere with Lori. No, yes, we are. Now stop bothering me.
Okay, so right away we have Joe who is being like immediately shutting Amy down, like, stop bothering. Yes, we're going to the theater. You're not coming. Like, that's kind of the unspoken thing here already before it's even spoken. So we have Joe is already on the defense, and Amy is already starting to whine.
Do you have a second? Yes, hurry up. You're going to the theater with Lori. Meg, please can I go? Please can I go? I'm sorry to be bored. Can't go, Amy, so don't be a baby and whine about it.
Joe is being defensive. You can't come, so don't be a baby about it. Amy's already whining. She's already being a baby about it, and she's begging Meg to take her, but she doesn't really seem to be having much of an expectation that that's actually going to follow through.
I've been shut up here and I never get to go anywhere. Beth is her piano.
there. And then we have Joe's like, no, again, like this is like the third pushback from her. You can't go.
We already have to deal with dumb Mr. Brooke.
He's kind.
But like,
I did it for myself.
you will not come.
Sorry, my sweet. Joe's right.
No!
Come, Meg. Stop petting her.
Please, please. Oh, you'll be sorry for this too much. You will. You.
Okay, so this is kind of like the crescendo moment of the scene. But as we've built up, Amy's mood really has not changed from the very beginning of the scene. She was whiny and upset at the beginning. She's still whiny and upset. Now she gets so upset that she throws something, I don't know, a shoe? Something at Joe as she's leaving, and they both kind of turn around and Meg's like, Amy, like with this little surprised laugh. She doesn't see that Amy's hurt. Nobody sees that Amy is hurt. And is Amy really hurt, or is she just being whiny? I don't know. Okay, so we have Joe and Meg go to the play. They have a good time. Meanwhile, Amy is digging around looking for revenge in Joe's book and finally finds it and burns it psychotically, one page at a time. So evil. Okay, so now we have the return moment. We have Amy who's like sitting, being passive aggressive and broody and silent.
Better than she was. Although she wasn't terrific.
So Joe's going to look for the book. She can't find it. Oh no, something happened.
That's what you realize.
What happened?
Mr. Brooke has blue eyes and an old soul, which is much more.
Okay, so now Joe comes into the room. She already knows something's up. She's suspecting Amy. She's thinking only one person in this room could have taken this book. But, I mean, look at her face. I can't tell if she's upset or if she's afraid. Let's let her
Has
finish.
anyone taken my novel?
Has anyone taken my novel? Okay, a little passive aggression there. And of course we have Amy being passive aggressive and swishing her book pages bitterly.
Amy, you've got it.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
That's a lie.
No, it isn't. I haven't got it. I don't know where it is, and I don't.
Sorry, that gets me every time. Okay, so it went from like being passive aggressive and pretty chill, pretty mellow, to Joe flying at her, claws out, attacking her, screaming, and Amy screaming back.
You burnt it up for me! I burnt your book! I told you I'd make you pay, and I did!
Yeah, okay, so that escalated really quickly. Not really much of a build-up, honestly. Not a lot of emotional dynamic change happening. We just had, did you take it? No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. No, that's a lie. And then, wham, they collide, they clash, and suddenly everything's like, rah, 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 intense fighting, smashing, slapping. When I first saw this, I was honestly surprised by how sudden it is, because there just felt like there needed to be more of an emotional build-up here, more of a roller coaster ride, more intimacy to feel not just what Joe was feeling, but also what Amy was feeling in this scene. So in conclusion, I feel like this scene just didn't pack as much of an emotional punch as it could have packed, because the writer didn't focus on the emotional dynamics of the scene, that up and down roller coaster ride. And a lot of writers fail to do this. And one of the reasons why is because they don't leverage another really important tool that goes hand in hand with dynamic change, and that is expectation versus reality. We go through life constantly experiencing this conflict of expectation versus reality. We all have different motives, goals, fears, and misbeliefs driving us. Every day we go about our lives with certain expectations, and when we don't get what we expect, we often are forced to face obstacles that we either have to overcome or we end up the victim of, which creates conflict. And this can be as simple as expectation: I'm going to get into my car and drive to the grocery store and buy waffles. Reality: I break down on the side of the road. Now, it sucks to break down on the side of the road, no matter what you were going to do, but what if we made the expectation a little bit more meaningful than going to get waffles? What if I was on my way to a job interview that I had worked months, maybe years of my life to line up and secure, and this was the most amazing opportunity of all time, and you knew how much it mattered to me and how deeply I cared about securing this job. Now, when I break down on the side of the road, suddenly it is way more meaningful. It matters more. Why? Because you can see why it matters more to me. Suddenly you, the viewer, care a whole lot more about my character than if I was just going to get waffles, and this is a little bit of an inconvenience because now I'm not going to have any waffles. If you want your characters to feel like real people, they also have to face this constant encounter with expectation versus reality. And that's your job as the writer, to set up this conflict, to show us intimate conflict. That's one of the ways that, in my opinion, Greta's Little Women fails to pack an emotional punch in this scene. Because Amy is whining and moaning before Jo even shuts down her request to come along to the theater. We can see that Amy doesn't really expect Jo to take her seriously, and nobody's expecting to change their plans to include Amy. Because we don't see this expectation versus reality at play, we don't really feel Amy's soul-crushing disappointment when Jo denies her, which makes it harder for us to sympathize with her reasons for being resentful and burning the book. And it's harder to even feel sympathy for Amy in this scene because it's just such a terrible, out-of-line thing to do. Can we feel sympathy for a character who does something like this? I think it's possible. Maybe not sympathy, but empathy. At least empathy. Like, at least we should be able to see where this is coming from. We should be able to feel her pain. That being said, let's look at another version of Little Women, the BBC version, and compare and contrast the scene we just watched. We're going to keep track of the emotional progress and the emotional dynamic change, and we're going to see how these two scenes measure up to each other. Okay, so we have a very similar setup here with the sisters getting ready for going out to the theater, and Amy ambushes them.
You're going out. I can smell eau de cologne right along the landing, and Hannah's been polishing the opera glasses.
Yes, she has. Because we're going to the theater.
To see the 7 princesses of the Diamond Lake.
Yes. Laurie invited the two of us to go with him and Mr. Brooke.
And I'm coming too.
So right away we have emotional dynamics at play. We have Amy comes in and she's like, what's going on? Jo tells her, you can tell she's not going to invite Amy along, she's not going to be welcome. But
welcome back. I've been using Ibis Paint, trying to find a way. Some people have been keeping it a secret. Over here is the interface, and you're going to go down past cloud storage, past add-on, past pressure oh yeah, here we go. Pressure sensitive stylus. Available S Pen, correct. I'm using S Pen. Palm rejection, enable. After turning palm rejection on, it will only respond to your S Pen and not your finger. Okay, cool. So there we go, we did it. Now you can also choose buttons, what the buttons do. So I don't want my S Pen button to undo anything. I want it to do an eraser. I want it to erase. So it will do that now. And that, you guys, is how you enable palm rejection in Ibis Paint. Bye.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, as you can tell by the title of this video, I am not going to be drawing on my iPad today, nor am I going to be using the Apple Pencil that I usually use. Today we're going to be drawing on a mobile phone, like a smartphone I guess. I don't know how to call this, on my phone I guess. And I just wanted to give drawing with my finger on a phone a try, because I know a lot of the times you guys work like this, so I thought it would be nice to jump into your guys' shoes and give that a go. I know I've drawn with my finger before. I'll put a video, little card thing up here so you can check it out if you're interested. But I know there's going to be a bit of a difference drawing on such a much larger surface. As you can see, this is larger than both my hands together, while sure how I want to film this. I might have to hold the phone the entire time, or I might get a stand. We'll see. I'm assuming I should do it just by holding it. I just not sure how well this is gonna pick it up. Also, this is like a vertical format, so it might be a little bit more difficult unless I do decide to draw this way. We'll see. I'll just get everything set up and get the colors correct before we start. Okay, now that I have this set up, okay, as you can see, it's my phone. You can tell by the size difference of my finger. So I think I'm going to be drawing in the horizontal setting. You can tilt it if I do this and draw vertically, but for the sake of the video and being able to see things properly, I am going to draw this way. Just to make sure it fills up most of the screen so you guys can see properly. We're going to go into my gallery. As you can see, there is a few things in here. This was for like a different video, and I have other attempts before where I would try to draw with my finger very briefly, and as you can tell, like I was struggling quite a bit. I drew this, I think mid-July, and let's see, how can I do this? I'll probably like edit in how this works. But this was done with my finger, and I think I was just out and about. I didn't bring my iPad out that day, and I kind of regretted it because I think I was waiting for about like 3 hours for my parents to finish up something. So I decided within like the last hour or so, I decided to try to draw something. I struggled a lot, and this is like the current result of it. So let's go ahead so you guys can see. Let's just try to get started. Really, there is so much construction today, and I have no idea why. Today's like the worst day to film. What is this noise? I swear I was gonna lose my mind. I can still hear the beeping in my brain, but I know it's gone. So let's just get started. This is a little bit wobbly. Let's see. I think that should be big enough, to be honest. I'm gonna face it DPI. Press OK. We're gonna get started, I guess. Okay, I don't know how exactly this works. I feel like I have to work vertically, though. Should I work vertically? Okay. I kind of wish they switched this. It's okay. We'll just deal with it. So brushes. I'm going to look for the brush that I usually use, which is the color pencil. Okay, after you click the little add button, like next to the brushes, you can watch the ad, and then you'll have access to all the brushes. Hit OK. I'm not used to this. Do I really want to do this? Should I do this, guys? Okay, let's just start off with a sketch. Maybe I should have cut my nails. I don't really have like an idea of what I want to draw. Maybe I should just draw one. So I want to do this. I'm going to swap my phone around so I don't accidentally use my palm to hit the menu key. Guess we should increase the brightness. I'm not using the red pencil, am I? That's what I thought. What was the point of that? Okay, using the color pencil. That's better. Let's restart. So I'm just gonna do a portrait. I'm probably gonna paint in the usual style that I do. We'll see how I approach this, because I could definitely maybe do 2 drawings, but we'll see how I feel, because I technically could try doing like line art and do more of a more anime cell shading kind of drawing. So I know what you're drawing on your phone. Just zoom in. like something from your camera roll. I don't know why my middle finger feels the most comfortable to draw with. Maybe because my pointer finger has a longer nail. Okay, not too bad. I kind of wanted him to be a bit happier. Not happier, I guess like, I feel like raising tilting the eyebrows just make him a little bit cuter. I usually like to match the eraser to the same one that I'm using with the same tool, like the pencil tool. Because the one I was currently using was a little bit too harsh, but this makes it a little bit easier to match your sketch a little bit more. So do you want to erase some of these lines? Give him a little bit of head space up here. Extend this jaw a little bit. So what I'm going to be doing, trying my best anyways to do fan art. Want to at least try to get his face shape a little bit correct. I feel like if I go quiet, it's because I'm concentrating too much. And I don't know how much commentary I'm going to be able to do. Like I said, I'm going to keep this pretty simple. I'm just going to be doing the usual portrait. His mouth is still crooked. And I feel like if you're doing a sketch like this and you're planning to use it as your, kind of like your line art, make sure to erase to get cleaner lines rather than just focusing on getting your lines to be super duper clean with just the pencil. I think that's the same for like line art. If you can't get like a point to be super clear or clean in one go, just do it by erasing. Because you can see how like wobbly my lines are, but as long as you're kind of like zooming in and cleaning this up a little bit, kind of like imitate as if you had really clean lines to begin with. So
Alright,
the
what
color will
over
make it a little
Rosie?
bit easier.
I think we can definitely.
Look in larger shapes instead of doing these thinner lines. So using this off of the Wanu outfit from the kickball episode. So in terms of color, it might not be that exciting because he's pretty much just wearing white. Is he on the white team? Because I don't think he's on the blue team. He's on the white team. I think that's Jonghan, so it should be the right team. Because I think Vernon's on he's the captain of the blue team, right? Yeah, but zooming in and kind of like fixing some of the details kind of help. Okay, let's do a little bit of his hair. I don't know, should I do it the exact same how I see it? Quickly put an indication of where I want his hairline to start. It's like, all the reference I have, it's like the wind is blowing his hair. Kind of has like this little swooshy bit. I'll leave these a little bit lighter. His mouth looks crooked again. I feel like this is the difficult part about drawing on your phone is that you can't see the picture. Gosh, where am I? All at once. This is how we're gonna leave his hair. I am gonna erase where his scalp is so you can see the actual shape of his hair. I am gonna move his iris now. I feel like if I have to do the back and forth motion, I already used my index. Or my, like, you know, my pointer finger, right? And then anything else, I like to use the middle finger. I do want to put glasses on him. The problem is like, I probably want to do that on a separate layer. Like, usually I work on minimal amount of layers, but if I have to, or if you have to, like, use as many layers as you need. Like, I'm not limiting my layers to make it a challenge. For me, it's just easier to work with if you have, like, not too many layers. And you start getting up some of these lines to make sure that the hair has some kind of indication of sections. So make it a little bit easier for me to color the skin and not have the hair blend too much with the skin. Yeah, this is bad on my hand. If you guys are drawing on your phone and you're propping it up with your hand, make sure to take a break and stretch your hands so you don't get some weird problems. Or if you have like a stand, use a stand. Let's make a new layer. Try to add in his glasses. So I want to change his glasses like somewhat recently, maybe like a month or two ago, I think. So he doesn't really wear his round ones anymore. I kind of miss his round ones. Side. Might be too big for his face though. Let's duplicate that. Let's duplicate there. Flip it. Looks a little bit more correct. I'm gonna merge this down. Guys, my geez. Okay, this might be TMI. Actually, it just is TMI. My mom bought like banh mi, like those Vietnamese subs from a different place recently. Because there's always the place my dad always orders them from. Like he always orders pho from a certain place, and my brother and I usually get banh mi. So I don't get pho. Why did I put it up there? Jesus. Okay. But the one my mom bought, so usually me and my brother get like saute. And even though I usually can handle spice okay, like I'm not the greatest at handling spice, but like, you know, like I can eat some stuff. Like I can still eat fire noodles, but it does bring me pain. But these subs, they have these red chilies, which are fine. But they have some kind of chili oil on the sub itself. And usually chili oil doesn't like screw me over. I'm feeling it, guys. My stomach hates this. Like my stomach is so dang weak. Dairy screws it over, a little bit of spice screws it over. Wait, I don't want to merge it. I can't trust that. I'm gonna duplicate. How do I do this? Let's. Dude, my brain's like dead right now. Duplicate this. I'm gonna duplicate this.
Wait, it's so fun. No.
This one. Hide this one. Now I have these two up here. I'm gonna set this one to multiply. I need a background color, so let's make a new layer. As you can see, I'm just gonna use as many layers as I need. So the colors aren't gonna be super accurate to what you guys are gonna see when I do. If I remember to download the